Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video coming at you today with some breaking news hot off the presses. There is a new release notes from the developers of Rise of Kingdoms. They do these release notes when a new patch is upcoming, and this next patch, Anchors Away version 1.0.86, does have one very significant change to the game, so let's get right to that. It is listed here under point number 3, State Forum Travel Optimizations. Added the ability to travel using gems. Once you've traveled 20 times in a single day using action points, you can now travel an additional 120 times per day using gems. You will now earn luck every time you travel. The higher your luck score, the higher your chance of encountering a windfall. Now, I do not know what the luck score is, nor do I know what a windfall is. I can guess that it is when you get a unskippable storyline quest in the travel section, and that then leads to a legendary armament with an inscription. I would assume a windfall means a legendary armament with an inscription. But the big thing here is that you can now spend gems to travel an additional 120 times per day in the State Forum. I do have some travel quests left. I'm just using my default 20 of these right now, trying to get something good. Here's one of the skippable quests. These will generally give a legendary armament or a purple epic armament, but these usually don't have an inscription on them. You want the unskippable quests to get the legendary armaments with an inscription. And, you know, you can get some very good armaments in these travel quests. I've gotten some real bangers in the travel quests over the years. This is one of those things. You see here that I did get a legendary armament from just a skippable storyline. But yeah, I've gotten some very good quests doing this event. And the other, I'm just going to lock this because Delta Formation is new to me. And the other big thing here is that by spending gems to do additional quests, you'll also get more armaments that you can recycle and use, to buy some of these chests here. You can use them to get transmutation stones. And you're just going to get more legendary armaments that you can quickly recycle and progress towards getting one of these superior inscriptions, right? Now, the cost of the gems, or the cost of the extra travel is likely going to work something like this. And shout out to my teammate Knights, who actually remembered that when we did the Shifting Gears test server about a month ago, this feature was actually on the test server. And so if you wanted to do an additional travel quest on the test server, it would cost you 20 gems the first time, 40 gems the second time, 60 gems the third time, and so on and so forth for, as long as you want it to go. In the final version here, you'll be able to do it an additional 120 times per day. Now, the math for this is going to be the following. If you do all 120 armaments, then the cost of the 120th armament is going to be 2,400 gems. And the cost for doing all 120 additional travel trips is going to be 145,200 gems per day. So this is going to be a really big way to spend gems in this game. Because for whales, this is one of the few things that they can still spend gems on. They probably have maxed most of their equipment. They have all the commanders they need, but they still need to get new armaments. And even for smaller players like myself, getting more armaments is going to be very, very useful. As I said, more armaments, more chances at armaments means that I will get more legendary armaments that I can recycle. Let me just go ahead and recycle something that I have unlocked right now. I'll go ahead and recycle this. Oh, 1 second. Let me try that again. Yeah, I'll recycle this legendary armament right here. You can see I get one of these gold tokens here. And whenever you get 180 of those gold tokens, you get to open an inscription shard chest. When you open 8 of these inscription shard chests, you then are able to buy one of these really amazing endgame inscriptions. So spending gems to travel will allow players to progress more quickly towards their courier station purchases, but it will also allow us to more quickly progress towards our pity rolls for the different formations, and it will allow us to progress further on the sort of pity system where after you acquire 10 rare inscriptions, you are guaranteed to get a special gold inscription. So you can see that on Wedge, I'm 2 out of 10 towards that guaranteed gold. If we go to Arch Formation, then I believe you will see I'm a little bit further along. I'm 3 out of 10 on Arch Formation. So getting more armaments means, for one thing, we will make quicker progress towards all of the different pity rolls that we're working towards. And it will mean that we will be able to get more inscriptions. You know, listen, on these dispatch quests, you can get very good inscriptions. And on the travel quests, you can get very good inscriptions. A lot of us are still trying to fill out our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th open field marches with really, really good armaments with inscriptions. And, you know, paying extra to get more travel, it seems like a pretty good way to spend money. I mean, it seems like a pretty good way to spend gems. If I were to, for example, spend the 650 gems I get each day from the supply depot. Or wait, yes, I get 650 gems each day from the supply depot. If I were to spend just those 650 gems each day on an armament, on the travel quests, I would be able to get between 7 and 8 additional armaments every day with those gems. That seems like a pretty good pace for me, maybe spending about 650 gems per day, getting 7 or 8 additional armaments every day as a result. That will speed up my process. I'm sure whales will spend more. I'm sure lower spenders will spend less. And, you know, inscriptions are a very big deal in this game right now. I think if you were to look at a high-end whale account that is for sale in this game, and there was a post describing the key benefits of that account and why somebody should spend a bunch of money to purchase it, I really think the first line of that ad would be how many gold inscriptions the account has. Because the gold inscriptions in this game are very expensive to acquire, and they are very, very powerful. They have great boosts, and the stats for armaments, or the stats for inscriptions, they sort of exist in a separate category from a lot of the other stats. They're not additive to all of the other stats in the game. They are just, you know, like a separate calculation or an additional calculation to all the combat calculations that get done when you're fighting somebody. So inscriptions are a very big deal. And I think it's also worth noting that Lilith seems to be speeding up our ability to acquire endgame inscriptions in a way that they've never actually done with equipment before. You know, for as long as equipment has been in the game, along with the fact that Lilith has added things like Awakening, where there's even more pressure to continually upgrade your equipment, I don't think there's ever really been a point where Lilith has made it easier to acquire materials or to acquire blueprints. Sure, there are events like the Egg event or Hunt for History where you can acquire materials and blueprints, but those events don't come along more often, nor have they boosted the rewards for those events. I think we're still gaining materials and blueprints at the same rate we were gaining them 2 years ago. And yet Lilith is speeding up the rate at which we're gaining inscriptions. And I did hear recently, I believe it was Chiskel Gaming who noted this, that based on their polling and their research, Lilith feels that armaments are the least liked part of the game. The player base doesn't really seem to like armaments, and so it is interesting that they're speeding up the progression rate of armaments. If I had to speculate, I think this would mean that armaments are not going to be something that is endlessly upgradable in Rise of Kingdoms. I don't think it's going to be the center of endgame progression for all that long. It is the center of endgame progression at the moment, but it seems like that will not always be the case. They may lean back into equipment as the key way to separate yourself from other endgame players, or they might add something different. They might add some new dimension to the game. You know, they floated the idea of tier 6. They have now scrapped the idea of tier 6. I will say that it's nice that they didn't add this fast progression to armaments as soon as they came out. There is always a premium on spending right when a new mechanic comes out. It costs more to expertise a new mechanic as soon as it comes out. But then after something like armaments have been out for a couple of years, now they're making it a little bit less expensive. Now they're making it more accessible. They've added several mechanics now where low spenders and free to play can get gold inscriptions more quickly than we were able to a year ago. And so it's allowing us to catch up to whales a little bit, but at the same time, because most whales have not reached full gold inscription on even one march, much less all their marches, this could also potentially be very, very good for whales, where they spend gems each day to do more travel quests, and they just try to randomly get really good inscriptions. Well, at the end of the day, I don't think whales are going to spend gems to get just for like the chance to get a good inscription. They're going to do the random travel quests in order to get more legendaries. They want to pull more legendaries, right? Because when they pull more legendaries, all of their pity counters gets reduced. You know, on Arch, I'm 123 armaments away from my next pity inscription. On Wedge, I believe that I am 38 legendary armaments away from my next pity inscription. So, you just try to get as many legendary armaments into your account as you possibly can. You go through these pity counters as quickly as you can. If you happen to get a usable legendary armament plus inscription along the way, then that's great. You equip it, you improve your account. But really what everyone's doing at this point is we're just trying to burn through these pity counters as quickly as we can. And this state form optimization, if it plays out the way it did on the test server, will be a way for players to get more armaments every day. Like I said, if I spend 650 gems per day on this, I'm going to get another 7 or 8 armaments per day. Maybe every 1 or 2 days, I'll get a legendary armament out of all of those travel trips. And so it'll speed me up a little bit. Let's quickly go through the rest of these patch notes. There's not a whole lot here in the first section. They're just sort of talking about the events that are coming for the 6th anniversary festival that is kind of underway right now. This one called Epic Glory seems a bit new. The Tale of Glory Continue, make purchases to get gifts. This could be a little bit interesting where you buy different bundles in the game and maybe you're able to give gifts to other players. Number 2 here, Museum Optimization. This increases the amount of relic coins you can earn from daily objective rewards. It also adds exhibit coins and relic coins to the reward list for alliance mobilization, ready to attack, overwhelming strength, and other events. So they're going to make it a little bit easier to get exhibit and relic coins. I do not know which one of these is the rarer one. Let's see. So these are the exhibit coins, and these are the relic coins. To unlock a commander, let's take a look here. You need exhibit coins. You need exhibit coins to unlock a commander. Or, wait, actually it's the upgrades that are actually... So it must be relic coins. It must be relic coins that are used to actually upgrade the museum commanders. I do know some people in my kingdom, and we're all endgame players who have played for a long time. I do know some people in my kingdom who are not able to unlock or, unlock the Guan Yu museum buff before this KVK. And so even though Guan Scipio is still a very good commander, some people do not have the Guan Yu museum buff at the moment. And so I guess it's really both. You really need both relic coins and exhibit coins, because you do want to unlock commanders like Guan Yu that are tier 1, but you also want to upgrade. You also want to upgrade some of these commanders with relic coins once their tier 2 buff is added. And what a lot of us have done is we've just upgraded everybody. Back in the day, we just unlocked and upgraded everybody. We upgraded our El Cid. We maxed out our museum buffs on El Cid because, I mean, we just thought these things would be plentiful. So people are in a bad situation, and Lilith is taking steps to allow people to get some relic and exhibit coins a little more easily. Not a whole lot else in this patch notes. Very minor Ark of Osiris optimizations. Triarch Trouble, which is an event that I barely even remember, had some adjustments. The inscription, there are some inscription adjustments being made to inscriptions such as Enraged, Tremors, Calm, Devious, Brawler, Daring, Artisan, and Furious to make them more versatile and applicable to a wider range of troop compositions. I think the key ones here would be Devious and Daring. Let's quickly take a look at Devious and Daring. Let's see here. So Devious is 2.5% more skill damage of all types. Daring is also 2.5% more skill damage of all types. I would bet that this is not going to include normal damage, because I don't think Daring okay, so Devious is available on Arch Formation. Obviously, having skill damage on Arch Formation doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So maybe this is going to be 2.5% more skill damage or normal damage. I'm not sure. I'm a little curious what the changes to Devious and Daring are going to be, because those are two very good inscriptions. A lot of people use Daring and Devious. I mean, if they made this 2.5% more skill damage and 2.5% more normal damage, then that would really buff this. That would really buff this inscription a lot. These are already some of the best normal inscriptions in the game. So let's just quickly look at the wording of that again. Change the effects of these inscriptions to make them more versatile and applicable to a wider range of troop compositions. So, it is possible that they're going to buff some of these inscriptions. Let's take a look at Calm really quick. I feel like Calm is a pretty good inscription as well. Yeah, Calm. Here's Calm. Whenever the troop deals any type of direct damage, it has a 10% chance to gain 10% attack for 3 seconds. Why would they need to make Calm more flexible? 10% attack is useful for any kind of troop composition. I guess it's the fact that some troops don't deal direct damage. Attila and Takeda don't deal direct damage. And so for Attila and Takeda, there's no way to ever proc the 30% chance of gaining 10% attack. So In lieu of any super clear way of making these inscriptions more versatile, it is possible that they're just going to buff these inscriptions, which would be, you know, not a huge deal, but it would be some good news for people who are running Devious or Daring on some of their marches. So we'll have to take a look at how that shakes out in the final wash. We will also have to see how much it costs to do additional travel quests for gems. As I said on the test server, it was 20 gems for the first trip, 40 gems for the second trip, 60 gems, and so forth. That is it for this video. Be sure to throw a like on it if you appreciated me bringing this news to you hot off the shelf. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you all on the flip side.